Every day you carry an invisible weight. It's the pressure of eyes you can't see, the opinions you can't hear but feel deeply. You dress a certain way, hold back your thoughts, and filter your true self, all because of one paralyzing fear. What will they think? It's that unspoken burden that's kept you silent when you wanted to speak, made you say yes when you meant no, and forced you into boxes that were never meant for you. Here's the hard truth. Most of those people whose opinions control your life, they're not even paying attention. You've been living in a self-imposed prison, confined by judgments that aren't real. As the philosopher said, we suffer more often in imagination than in reality. You're the only one who can set yourself free. So if you're done with letting imaginary critics dictate your choices, stick around. We're about to unravel the secret to shedding the weight of other people's opinions. Before we dive in, do yourself a favor, hit that subscribe button. You don't want to miss any of this because this could be the moment that changes everything. Let's break free, together. 1. Shift your focus from external validation to internal values. We live in a world where validation feels like currency. A like on social media, a compliment from a colleague, or even the approval of a stranger can momentarily boost our self-esteem, making us feel seen, valued, and significant. But there's a dark side to this constant need for external validation. It's fleeting, unpredictable, and ultimately beyond your control. One moment, you're riding high on praise, and the next, a single critical comment sends you spiraling into self-doubt. This roller coaster of emotions is exhausting and keeps you trapped in a cycle where your sense of worth is always dictated by others. The key to breaking free from this cycle is to shift your focus inward, to move away from seeking approval outside of yourself and start grounding your actions, choices, and sense of self in your internal values. Imagine for a moment that your worth isn't tied to anyone's opinion, but instead rooted in the principles that you choose to live by. Honesty, integrity, kindness, or resilience. When you make this shift, your actions start aligning with what truly matters to you, not what you think will earn you the most praise. This is a radical transformation because it redefines success on your terms. Instead of measuring yourself by others' reactions, you start measuring yourself by your own standards. Did you act with integrity today? Did you make a decision that aligns with your values, even if it wasn't the most popular one? These are the questions that begin to shape your self-worth, replacing the constant need for validation with a sense of internal peace and fulfillment. The challenge, of course, is that our brains are wired to seek approval. It's a survival mechanism as old as humanity itself. But just because it's natural doesn't mean it's necessary or healthy in every context. The secret is to retrain your mind to recognize when you're slipping into the validation trap. Notice when you're acting or holding back because of what others might think, and gently remind yourself that your value doesn't lie in their approval. This practice isn't about dismissing feedback or becoming indifferent to others. It's about not letting their opinions be the driving force behind your decisions. A powerful way to start shifting your focus is to set daily intentions that are based on your values, not on outcomes. For instance, instead of aiming to impress someone at work, set an intention to be authentic and do your best. Instead of seeking compliments for your appearance, focus on feeling comfortable and true to yourself. These subtle shifts in perspective allow you to take control of your actions and reactions, giving you the power to live in alignment with who you really are. It's liberating because it places the responsibility of your happiness back in your hands. Remember, every time you choose to act based on your values rather than the opinions of others, you strengthen your sense of self and move closer to the life you truly want. It's not easy, and it won't happen overnight. But with each conscious decision, you build resilience against the tides of external judgment. You begin to realize that real confidence doesn't come from applause or approval. It comes from knowing that you are living in harmony with your true self. Embrace the power of imperfection and let go of perfectionism. Perfectionism is often glorified in our society, seen as a badge of honor that signifies high standards, discipline, and relentless pursuit of excellence. But behind this seemingly admirable trait lies a toxic mindset that can cripple your confidence, paralyze your progress, and fuel endless overthinking. Perfectionism isn't about striving for success. It's about fearing failure. It's that nagging voice in your head that tells you nothing you do is ever good enough, pushing you to endlessly tweak, refine, and second-guess every move you make. The harsh reality is that perfection is an illusion, a mirage that recedes the closer you get to it. It's a standard so unattainable that it keeps you trapped in a cycle of dissatisfaction, constantly chasing an ideal that doesn't exist. To break free from this destructive pattern, you must first embrace the power of imperfection. Understand that flaws, mistakes, and setbacks are not just inevitable, they are essential. They are the raw material of growth, the fertile ground where resilience, creativity, and true learning take root. When you allow yourself the freedom to be imperfect, you open the door to experimentation and bold action. You start to see mistakes not as failures, but as valuable feedback, guiding you closer to your goals. This shift in perspective transforms how you approach challenges. Instead of avoiding risks for fear of getting it wrong, you begin to see each attempt as a stepping stone, an opportunity to learn and improve. Imagine how much more you could achieve if you stopped waiting for the perfect moment, the flawless plan, or the guaranteed outcome. Perfectionism often disguises itself as a quest for excellence, but more often than not, it's just procrastination in a clever costume. It keeps you endlessly preparing, revising, and hesitating instead of taking action. By letting go of the need to be perfect, you liberate yourself to start, to try, and to make progress, even if it's messy, awkward, or imperfect. The truth is, the path to mastery is paved with imperfect attempts, and each one brings you closer to your potential. One powerful way to combat perfectionism is to set process-oriented goals rather than outcome-oriented ones. Instead of aiming to write the perfect report, aim to spend an hour writing without judgment. Instead of planning to ace every meeting, focus on showing up prepared and present. These kinds of goals are within your control and allow you to celebrate progress rather than perfection. They also help you build momentum, as each small win reinforces your capability and keeps you moving forward. Over time, you'll find that consistent, imperfect action often leads to better results than a single perfectly executed effort that never actually gets started. Remember, embracing imperfection doesn't mean lowering your standards or settling for mediocrity. It means recognizing that perfection is not the goal. The goal is growth, learning, and progress. It's about showing up, doing the work, and being kind to yourself along the way. Each time you take imperfect action, you break the chains of perfectionism and inch closer to your true potential. By letting go of the impossible standard of perfection, you give yourself permission to be human, to learn from your missteps, and to thrive in the messy, beautiful process of becoming your best self. 3. Detach from outcomes and focus on the process. One of the most common sources of anxiety, stress, and overthinking is our obsession with outcomes. We set goals with specific expectations, whether it's landing a job, getting a promotion, or receiving praise for our efforts, and we tie our happiness and self-worth to these results. But life doesn't always unfold the way we plan. Outcomes are influenced by countless factors, many of which are beyond our control. This fixation on results can lead to intense frustration and disappointment when things don't go as expected. It creates a constant loop of anxiety, where you're always worried about the what-ifs and what could have been, leaving you feeling powerless and stuck. To break free from this cycle, it's crucial to detach from outcomes and shift your focus to what you can control: your actions, efforts, and attitude. Detaching from outcomes doesn't mean you stop caring about your goals or abandon ambition. It means you redefine success on your terms. Success isn't about hitting a specific target. It's about how you show up, the effort you put in, and the consistency with which you pursue your values. By focusing on the process rather than the result, you create a sense of fulfillment that is independent of any external measure. This mindset empowers you to take risks, embrace challenges, and continue moving forward, even when the outcome is uncertain. It allows you to find joy in the journey rather than pinning your happiness on a future that may or may not come to pass. Imagine approaching every task, project, or relationship with the intention of doing your best without attaching your worth to the result. If you give your all in a presentation at work, but it doesn't lead to the promotion you hoped for, it's not a failure. It's an opportunity to learn, refine your skills, and try again. If you pour your heart into a creative endeavor that doesn't receive the recognition you expected, it's still a victory because you honored your passion and expressed yourself authentically. When you detach from the need for specific outcomes, you become resilient in the face of setbacks. You start to see obstacles as part of the process, not as signs of inadequacy or reasons to quit. One practical way to practice detaching from outcomes is to set intention-based goals rather than result-based ones. Instead of saying, "I want to lose 10 pounds in a month," reframe it as, "I will commit to exercising 3 times a week and eating mindfully." Instead of focusing on winning an award, commit to consistently improving your craft. By doing this, you place the emphasis on your actions, which are within your control, and you can celebrate the small wins along the way. This approach builds confidence and keeps you motivated because you're not solely chasing a distant finish line. You're valuing the effort and growth that happens each day. So ultimately, detaching from outcomes is about reclaiming your power. It's a reminder that you are not defined by your successes or failures, but by your willingness to engage fully in life's process. By focusing on the journey and what you can control, you reduce anxiety, boost your resilience, and create a deeper sense of fulfillment that no external result can take away. This shift allows you to live with greater freedom, peace, and purpose, knowing that no matter the outcome, you are enough. Master your emotions by challenging your thoughts. Emotions are powerful forces that can drive our decisions, shape our perceptions, and influence our behavior, often without us even realizing it. While emotions are a natural part of being human, they can also be misleading, overwhelming, and at times, entirely irrational. Think about the last time you were caught up in anger, fear, or anxiety. How those feelings seem to take over, coloring your reality and dictating your actions. In these moments, it's easy to lose sight of the bigger picture, allowing fleeting emotions to steer you off course. However, mastering your emotions doesn't mean suppressing or ignoring them. It means learning to understand and challenge the thoughts that fuel them. By examining the narratives you tell yourself and questioning their validity, you can transform how you experience and respond to your emotions, gaining clarity and control over your inner world. One of the key insights to mastering your emotions is recognizing that it's not the events themselves that disturb you, but your interpretation of those events. Imagine you're stuck in traffic, late for an important meeting. The frustration, impatience, and anxiety you feel aren't caused by the traffic itself, but by your thoughts about the situation. "This is a disaster. I'm going to mess everything up," or "everyone is going to judge me." These thoughts amplify your stress, turning a simple inconvenience into a full-blown emotional storm. The good news is, you have the power to rewrite these narratives. Instead of spiraling into negative thinking, you can challenge your thoughts by asking, "Is this as catastrophic as I'm making it out to be?" Or, "What's the worst that could happen, and how would I handle it?" By reframing your perspective, you can calm your mind, making it easier to navigate difficult situations with composure. Another powerful tool for mastering your emotions is to pause and label what you're feeling. When emotions run high, it's easy to become swept away by their intensity, reacting impulsively in ways you might later regret. But by simply acknowledging and naming your feelings, saying to yourself, "I'm feeling anxious," or "I'm really angry right now," you create a moment of separation between you and the emotion. This act of labeling helps you step back and observe your feelings without becoming consumed by them. It's like hitting the pause button on an emotional movie that's playing in your mind, giving you a chance to assess what's really going on and decide how you want to respond. Mastering your emotions also involves developing the habit of self-reflection. After an emotionally charged moment, take time to reflect on what triggered your reaction, what thoughts fueled your feelings, and how you could approach similar situations differently in the future. This process of reflection isn't about self-criticism. It's about self-awareness and growth. The more you understand the patterns in your thinking and behavior, the better equipped you are to manage your emotions in constructive ways. Over time, you'll find that emotional mastery isn't about never feeling upset, anxious, or angry. It's about having the resilience and tools to navigate those emotions with grace and wisdom. Ultimately, mastering your emotions by challenging your thoughts empowers you to live more intentionally. It allows you to respond to life's challenges with clarity, reducing the hold that irrational fears and reactive impulses have on you. By taking control of your internal dialogue, you reclaim your power, fostering a more balanced and grounded approach to whatever life throws your way. 5. Live in the present and break free from regrets and worries. We often find ourselves mentally trapped in a tug-of-war between the past and the future. Our minds replay old mistakes, missed opportunities, and painful moments on an endless loop, filling us with regret. Simultaneously, we project our fears into the future, worrying about what might happen, what could go wrong, and all the uncertainties that lie ahead. This constant mental time travel robs us of the one thing we truly have, the present moment. It's a thief that steals our peace, our joy, and our ability to fully engage with life as it is happening right now. To break free from the chains of regret and anxiety, we must learn to live in the present. To anchor ourselves in the here and now where real life unfolds and where our true power lies. Living in the present doesn't mean disregarding the past or ignoring the future. It means not allowing them to dominate your current experience. The past is a fixed chapter, valuable for its lessons but impossible to change. Yet, how often do you find yourself revisiting those old pages, dwelling on things you wish you'd done differently? You replay conversations, rehash decisions, and criticize yourself for not knowing then what you know now. This relentless self-criticism keeps you stuck in a loop of guilt and shame, unable to move forward. But here's the truth. The past only holds the power you give it. By consciously choosing to let go, forgiving yourself for mistakes, and appreciating how far you've come, you release the grip that regret has on you. Every time you catch yourself dwelling on what's gone, remind yourself that you are not defined by your past. You are defined by who you are right now, in this moment. On the other hand, the future is a vast, uncharted territory, filled with both possibilities and unknowns. It's easy to become consumed by what might happen, endlessly planning, predicting, and preparing for every potential outcome. While some forward thinking is necessary and healthy, when it spirals into constant worry, it only serves to paralyze you. You spend so much time bracing for impact that you forget to live. The irony is that most of what we worry about never actually comes to pass, and the things that do happen rarely unfold in the way we expect. To live in the present, you must accept that the future is beyond your control, no matter how meticulously you plan. Instead of obsessing over what might be, focus on what you can do today. Taking action in the present moment is the best preparation for the future. It grounds you, giving you a sense of purpose and momentum that worrying never will. One powerful practice to bring yourself back to the present is mindfulness. Whether through deep breathing, meditation, or simply paying attention to the sights, sounds, and sensations around you, mindfulness anchors you in the now. It's a reminder that this moment, right here, is where your life is happening. When you engage fully with the present, you reclaim your time and energy. You experience more joy, more clarity, and a deeper connection to the world around you. The more you practice being present, the less hold the past and future have on you. Living in the present doesn't mean life will always be easy or perfect, but it does mean that you're fully awake to your experiences, ready to respond rather than react, and capable of appreciating the beauty of the moment. It's a powerful way to live, one that brings a sense of peace and fulfillment that cannot be found in dwelling on yesterday or worrying about tomorrow. So let go of the regrets and the what-ifs. This moment is your life, embrace it. We hold ourselves to impossibly high standards, replaying every mistake and perceived failure with harsh self-judgment. That little voice inside, always quick to point out flaws and shortcomings, can be relentless, making us feel inadequate and unworthy no matter how much we achieve. But this cycle of self-criticism doesn't drive us to greatness. It drains our energy, erodes our self-esteem, and keeps us stuck in a perpetual state of self-doubt. The antidote? Self-compassion. It's about treating yourself with the same kindness, understanding, and patience that you would offer to a friend facing a tough time. By practicing self-compassion, you can break free from the heavy burden of self-criticism and embrace a more balanced, forgiving, and empowered approach to life. Self-compassion isn't about letting yourself off the hook or making excuses for your mistakes. It's about recognizing that being human means being imperfect. We all stumble, fall short of our goals, and make choices we later regret. This shared human experience connects us, reminding us that no one is immune to struggle or failure. When you acknowledge this, you begin to see your mistakes not as personal flaws, but as part of the broader tapestry of life. Instead of berating yourself for not being perfect, you can start to view your challenges with a sense of perspective and gentleness. This shift allows you to learn from your experiences without the paralyzing weight of shame and guilt. It's not about avoiding responsibility, it's about holding yourself accountable in a constructive way that fosters growth rather than self-sabotage. A crucial aspect of self-compassion is learning to quiet the inner critic. That voice in your head, the one that tells you you're not good enough, that you've failed, that you'll never measure up, is often louder and harsher than any criticism you'd receive from others. To counter this, start by simply noticing when that voice takes over. Pay attention to the words you use when talking to yourself. Are they supportive, or are they tearing you down? Challenge these negative thoughts by asking yourself if you would speak the same way to a friend or loved one in a similar situation. If the answer is no, it's a sign that you need to adjust your inner dialogue. Replace harsh judgments with affirmations of understanding. It's okay to make mistakes. I'm doing my best, or this doesn't define me. These small shifts can make a profound difference in how you relate to yourself. Another powerful tool is to practice self-compassion through acts of self-care. When you're feeling overwhelmed by self-criticism, take time to nurture yourself. Whether that's through rest, reflection, exercise, or engaging in activities that bring you joy. These moments of care reinforce the message that you are worthy of kindness, even from yourself. It's about showing up for yourself, especially when things don't go as planned. Over time, self-compassion becomes a habit, a default way of being that softens your inner world and opens you up to new possibilities. Ultimately, practicing self-compassion is about freeing yourself from the relentless pressure to be perfect and allowing yourself to be beautifully, authentically human. It's an ongoing practice that requires patience, but the rewards are profound. You'll find that when you treat yourself with compassion, you build resilience, improve your emotional well-being, and create a foundation of inner strength that supports you in every aspect of life. So let go of the self-criticism. Embrace your imperfections with kindness. You are worthy of your own compassion, and in giving it to yourself, you unlock the potential to live more fully, bravely, and joyously. Set boundaries and protect your peace. In a world that never stops demanding our time, energy, and attention, setting boundaries has become an essential act of self-preservation. We are constantly pulled in multiple directions, by work, family, friends, and the never-ending digital noise of social media. While the desire to be helpful, available, and agreeable is natural, without clear boundaries, it's all too easy to lose yourself in the chaos of other people's needs and expectations. You find yourself saying yes when you want to say no, taking on more than you can handle, and feeling drained, resentful, and overwhelmed as a result. Boundaries are not about shutting people out. They are about creating space to protect your peace, honor your needs, and maintain a sense of control over your life. When you set boundaries, you draw a line that defines where you end and others begin. A line that is crucial for your mental, emotional, and even physical well-being. Setting boundaries starts with understanding your own limits and priorities. This requires a deep level of self-awareness, knowing what matters most to you, what you're willing to tolerate, and what you need to feel balanced and fulfilled. It's about recognizing when your energy is being depleted and when your peace is being compromised. For many, the hardest part is acknowledging that it's okay to have limits. You don't have to be everything to everyone. You are allowed to protect your time and energy without guilt. It's not selfish. It's necessary. Think of it this way. You cannot pour from an empty cup. If you're constantly giving without replenishing, you'll eventually have nothing left to offer, not even to yourself. One of the most powerful ways to set boundaries is by learning to say no, without feeling obligated to provide an elaborate explanation or apology. This simple two-letter word can be incredibly freeing. Yet for many of us, it's laced with fear. Fear of disappointing others, of being perceived as rude or uncooperative, or of missing out. But saying no doesn't mean you're rejecting the person, it means you're honoring your own needs. You can say no with grace and kindness, maintaining your integrity while also safeguarding your boundaries. Practice responses like, "I appreciate the offer, but I'm not available," or "Thank you for thinking of me, but I need to focus on other priorities right now." These statements are respectful yet firm, leaving no room for negotiation about your limits. Boundaries also involve setting expectations for how others treat you. If someone's behavior, be it disrespect, constant criticism, or unreasonable demands, crosses your boundaries, it's up to you to address it. This doesn't mean engaging in conflict or acting out of anger. It means calmly and clearly communicating what is and isn't acceptable. Remember, you teach people how to treat you by what you tolerate. Standing up for yourself isn't about being confrontational. It's about advocating for your right to a healthy, respectful interaction. If boundaries are crossed repeatedly, it's also within your right to step back or remove yourself from the situation entirely. Ultimately, setting boundaries is about self-respect. It's about valuing your well-being enough to prioritize it over the need to please others. It's about creating a life where your time, energy, and emotions are managed by your intentions, not the demands of others. Boundaries are not walls. They are the framework that supports your best self. They protect your peace, empower you to live authentically, and allow you to give from a place of fullness rather than depletion. By setting and maintaining healthy boundaries, you reclaim your power, cultivate self-respect, and create the mental and emotional space needed to thrive. So protect your peace fiercely. It's the foundation upon which everything else is built. And there you have it, a journey through powerful lessons that can transform the way you think, feel, and live. But remember, the real magic isn't in just listening. It's in applying these ideas to your life. Reflect on these lessons. Start small, and watch as the ripple effect of these changes begins to take hold. Imagine waking up each day feeling more in control, more at peace, and less burdened by the noise of the world. This isn't just a philosophy. It's a way of life that empowers you to rise above the constant pressures and expectations that weigh us all down. Now, I want to hear from you. Which lesson resonated with you the most? What's one boundary you're committed to setting this week? Or one way you're going to practice self-compassion? Drop a comment below. I read every single one, and your insights often inspire future content. And if you found value in what we've shared today, don't keep it to yourself. Share this video with someone who needs to hear it. You never know whose day or even life you might change with just a click, and while you're here, if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. It's a simple action, but it's your way of saying, I'm ready to grow. I'm ready to prioritize my peace. Every time you join us, you're not just watching a video, you're investing in yourself, in your mental and emotional well-being. Plus, there's so much more to explore, so many more tools and insights that can help you continue on this path. Trust me, you don't want to miss out on what's coming next. Lastly, give this video a thumbs up if you found it helpful. It's a small gesture that makes a huge impact, letting us know that this content is making a difference. Your engagement isn't just numbers on a screen. It's a community of like-minded people coming together to support one another on the journey to living better, more intentional lives. We're building something meaningful here, a space where we can all learn, grow, and support each other. So don't be a stranger. Be an active part of this conversation. Turn on the notifications so you never miss an update. Because every piece of wisdom, every shared experience adds a new layer to this incredible journey we're on together. Thank you for being here, for showing up for yourself, and for being a part of this community. Until next time, keep reflecting, keep growing, and remember, you have the power to change your life, one thought, one action, one choice at a time. This is your journey. Own it, live it, and make it count. See you in the next video, and until then, live fully, think deeply, and keep protecting your peace.